Good morning all. Now half the session has been passed. Now it's time for term 2. So are you all ready with your books? So we'll begin with the very first chapter, chapter 6, Combustion and Flame. These are the topics which we will cover in our chapter: combustion, types of combustion, how to control fire, flame, structure of candle flame and fuel. So open your books to page number 74, chapter 6. Now in term 1 chapter, coal and petroleum, we studied about what is coal, what is petroleum. We all know that these two are fuels. So what is fuel? Fuel is a substance which provides us energy when we burn them. So what is the process of burning? What is combustion? That we will study in this chapter. What is combustion? So combustion, it is a chemical change. It is a chemical reaction in which substance reacts with oxygen and they give us heat and light. What is combustion? Or in simple language we say it burning. Everybody know what is burning? What happens? Suppose this is paper. When we burn paper, it is a remember in class 7 we discussed that burning is chemical change. So when we burn paper, what we are actually doing, the paper is reacting with oxygen and it gives us heat and light. Understood? So this process is known as combustion. Is it clear? What is combustion? When any substance burns, when they react with oxygen and they give heat and light, this is known as combustion. Now this type of reaction is known as oxidation reaction. This type of reaction is known as oxidation reaction. What type of reaction? The reaction in which oxygen is being added to this substance. You can see we have written plus oxygen. So oxygen is being added in this substance. So this type of reaction is known as oxidation reaction. Clear? Okay, then next term is, let's watch this first. Combustion. It is the act of burning. This, like you can see, this wood is burning. It is a chemical process in which a substance reacts with oxygen to produce heat and light. When you will bring your finger near this fire, you can feel the warmness, you can feel the hotness. That is heat, and heat plus light. It gives us heat, energy and light after burning through a chemical reaction. Like here example of magnesium is given. Using these tongs we have held this magnesium ribbon and we burnt it in the air. So what are the products? Magnesium oxide, heat and light. The same reaction we have discussed in chapter 4 also, metals and non-metals. Now next is classification of substances. So on the basis of combustion, we have categorized substances into two types: combustible substance and non-combustible substance. Now what are combustible substance? Now you have seen that few substances can burn easily, whereas the other substance cannot burn easily. So the substances which can burn readily are known as combustible substance. Example, wood, paper. Whereas the substances which do not burn readily, they are known as non-combustible substances. Examples are glass, metals. Got it? So can you name few combustible substances which you can see in this frame? You can see here, I think this table is not visible to you, but this is wooden table, this is combustible. The Paper of your book is again combustible substance. The clothes, the clothing material which we wear, that is again combustible substance. More examples like candle, again petrol, kerosene, these all are combustible substances. All fuels are combustible substances. But you can see glass, metals, sand, these substances do not burn. So these are non-combustible substances. Now in this reaction, you can see that this oxygen is necessary. To burn any substance, oxygen is necessary. If oxygen is not present, then there will be no combustion, there will be no burning. So this oxygen is known as supporter of combustion. Okay, this oxygen is known as supporter of combustion. You can mark this line in your books on page number 75. It is written in bold letters, supporter of combustion. Okay, oxygen is known as supporter of combustion because it supports burning. We can do it by an experiment. Let's perform an experiment. Okay, now you can see here I have kept two candles and these two candles are burning. Why these are burning? Because enough sufficient oxygen is present in this room. But over one candle, I am keeping this inverted glass. Now you can see this candle, the flame goes off, but this candle is still burning. So why does this happen? Because this candle is still getting sufficient amount of oxygen from the room, but this candle consumed whole oxygen which was available inside this glass. Now it has consumed all oxygen. Now there is no oxygen molecule. So you can see oxygen is supporter of combustion. In this case, it was not getting oxygen, so it stopped burning. Understood? Now, okay. Now let's say you have seen this is paper, wood is there, okay, polythene is there, but these all are combustible substances, but they are not burning. They are not burning at room temperature, but they are combustible. So to burn them, we need to rise their temperature. Let's take an example. This is piece of paper. It is at room temperature, it is not burning, but it is combustible substance. Now I rise the temperature of this paper to, let's say, 50 degree Celsius. It is still not burning. I again raise the temperature to 60 degree Celsius, still not burning. Then 70 degree Celsius, still not burning. Then 80 degree Celsius, again it is not burning. Now as soon as the temperature rises to 80.1 degree Celsius, this paper starts burning. So this temperature, the minimum temperature which is required to burn this paper, is known as its ignition temperature. This is the next term of your chapter, ignition temperature. What is ignition temperature? The minimum temperature at which combustible substance starts burning. Understood? Now the next term is inflammable substances. You have seen that near petrol pumps, smoking is not allowed. Why? Because petrol, diesel, these all are inflammable substances. So now what does it mean? What does it mean, inflammable substance? Now all those substances which have very low ignition temperature are known as inflammable substances. The substances which have very low ignition temperature are known as inflammable substances. Examples are petrol, diesel, kerosene. These all are examples of inflammable substances. Okay, now this time I will dictate you internal questions. You know the pattern of internal questions. So this time I will dictate you and you have to note it down in your books, plus you have to mark the answer. So your first internal question is, what are inflammable substances? You heard me? What are inflammable substances? Now mark this answer where you can see inflammable substances in bold letters. Combustible substances which have low ignition temperature are known as inflammable substances. Examples: alcohol, petrol, LPG, nylon fabric is also inflammable. You have heard that do not wear nylon clothes while working in kitchen. Why? Because nylon catch fire very easily. These all are inflammable substances. Okay, then now next is requirement of combustion. What are the conditions which is required for any substance to burn? Those are, first is fuel, second air, and third is certain temperature. Now for burning, for combustion, first requirement is fuel or any combustible substance. If we are having any combustible substance, then only we are able to burn any substance. Second requirement is air, that means oxygen. Why? Because oxygen is supporter of combustion. Then third is ignition temperature. We need to raise the temperature of that substance to its ignition temperature. They do not burn at room temperature. So these three conditions are necessary for combustion. Understood? So write your next internal question. What are the conditions under which combustion of a substance is possible? Mark the answer here on the introduction page of your chapter, that triangle. Answer is in triangle form where it is written air or oxygen, ignition temperature, and at the bottom combustible substance. Now next topic is types of combustion. In your books, 4 types of combustion are given. First is spontaneous combustion. Spontaneous means which happens on its own, which happens at room temperature only. We do not need to provide them ignition temperature. We do not need to ignite them. They burn on their own. You have heard of forest fires. Okay, we do not lit the forest. Okay, we do not lit that fire. It happens on its own. So that is known as spontaneous combustion. Then second is rapid combustion. Rapid means fast. So the combustion which happens very quickly is known as rapid combustion, in which large amount of heat and light is produced. Example, when we burn petrol, diesel, combustion of petrol, diesel is rapid combustion. Then third type of combustion is explosion. It is a type of combustion in which again large amount of heat, light plus sound is released, and it happens in very short span of time. Example, burning of crackers during Diwali season, that is explosion. And fourth type of combustion is slow combustion. As the name suggests, it happens very slowly. We cannot see the flame, we cannot see the light, but it happens. Example is rusting or respiration. These all are slow combustion, and a very small amount of energy is also released. So these are 4 types of combustion. Our next topic is fire. How to control fire. You have seen that Why fire is important? Because it gives us a source of light. It is a source of light for us. It helps us in cooking, and also in it is used as a fuel, like when we burn wood we get energy out of it. So fire is important, it is a necessary thing in our lives, but in few cases fire is not required. When we see building is on fire, recently you can see that Amazon forest, they are on fire. These all are not required by us. So we need to control those fire. So how will we do that? How can we control fire? Do you remember the conditions which are necessary for combustion? First is, I am writing in short, combustible substance, then second is oxygen, and third requirement is ignition temperature. So out of these three conditions, if we remove any one condition, then there will be no burning, there will be no combustion. So either we can remove combustible substance, which is practically not possible, so we cannot remove this condition. Now second is oxygen. We can cut off the supply of oxygen, this is possible, so we can do this, we can cut off the supply of oxygen. Then ignition temperature. If we cool down the burning substance, then the temperature will be below the ignition temperature and the substance will stop burning. So we can also perform this step. So either we can cut off the supply of oxygen or we can cool down the burning substance. So how can we perform these 2 points? There are so many methods, like first, very common, water. Okay, by sprinkling water on the burning substance, we can reduce its temperature, we can cool it down. But remember, water cannot be used to extinguish which electrical fires. Why? Because we know that electricity, water conducts electricity. So the person who is extinguishing those electrical fires, he or she might get shock. So we cannot use water to extinguish electrical fires, and we cannot use water for extinguishing oil or petrol fires also. Why? Because water is heavier than oil or petrol. So if you will sprinkle water on oil fires, then it will settle down, and the oil or petrol, it will keep burning on top of the water. So it is of no use. So in that case, we can use carbon dioxide gas. Why? Because this carbon dioxide gas is heavier than oxygen. So it will, carbon dioxide will wrap the burning substance, and there will be no oxygen available to the burning substance. So this is how we can use carbon dioxide. What else we can use? We can use sand also. Okay, we can use sand to extinguish fires. What else? We can use some chemical compounds also, like sodium or potassium bicarbonate, because when they react, they liberate carbon dioxide gas. So by using these things, we can extinguish fire. This is fire extinguisher. Inside this, what is present? Carbon dioxide. Here you can, okay. This fire is not wanted by us. These are different kinds of fire extinguisher, foam type,